We're back. Oh, hold on. Volume. We're back.
Oh, good. Okay, so we're back. So our next movie is Yulon, right?
Yes, Cruella.
Okay.
This happened to be a movie I watched with my sister on Thanksgiving. We
Okay.
figured, oh, nice family fare, but
We're going to do
wasn't
the...
great. Oh,
What?
yes.
Oh, shoot.
Trailer.
There we go.
From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else. That didn't sit well with some people. But I wasn't for everyone. I guess they were always scared that I'd be a psycho. But a new day brings new opportunities. And I was ready to make a statement. How does the saying go? I am woman, hear me roar. I'm just getting started, darling. The thing is, I was born brilliant, born bad, and a little bit mad. I'm glad that you're sorry. I'm Cruella.
And we're back. Huh?
Okay.
Okay, so, Lon.
Hi. Okay. So, Cruella, directed by Craig Gillespie, who also did a couple films like I, Tonya, and or two films I really enjoyed, I, Tonya, and Lars and the Real Girl.
Oh,
My favorite.
Now, if you've seen those, you sort of know he has a dark side and a light side to him. So he has definitely adapted that to Cruella. It's sort of amazing because this is a Disney film using a Disney, I guess, villain, per se, and is trying to make her sympathetic. Now, the story starts off with actually the birth of, I think, what is her name? I can't remember her name now. It
Oh,
wasn't
wait a second.
Stella?
No. Oh,
Stella.
Estella,
Yeah.
right. Estella, right?
Stella.
So there we go. She's born. Then you think she's just this unruly child.
Right.
The mother says, oh, okay. You could, and what's weird is she seems to have a very loving mother who, despite her sort of cruelty, in fact, she even makes the joke, oh, you should be known as Cruella because you're so mean, right? And yet the mother's always like doting on her, makes her, and she also tries to, for her mother, says, oh, okay, I'm going to be better, Mom, I promise, this and that. And when they move to London, you think that's really going to happen. Then some circumstances happen where she ends up with no mother anymore. So then she gets adopted, in my opinion, by these two guys that she meets. One thing you guys have to explain to me, what was the significance of the fountain? Was that the fountain that they were going to go and visit or something? Because that's the one thing I missed in the movie.
Which part of the...
¿Qué buscas
Well,
tú?
because remember, she's at the fountain where
Right.
she meets the two
Right.
two guys.
Right.
So.
And it's almost like her and her mother had that plan.
Exactly, that one fountain or something. Yet,
Yes.
whenever as the film develops, she always visits the fountain and sort of talks to her mother that way. So
Right.
that's what I was wondering if there was significance to
Right.
that. But anyway, so she falls in league with these two guys, and then, she's about 10 years old, and then all of a sudden, like a teenager, you see them now. Now, at this point, they're played by, Emma Stone is playing Estella, soon to be Cruella.
Yeah.
Joel Fry is playing, I can't remember their names now. Joel Fry and Paul Walter Hauser are playing
Jasper and Horace.
Oh, thank you. Jasper and Horace.
Horace,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, Joel Fry, you might remember from Yesterday. He
Yes,
played the
yesterday.
roadie
He
from
was a
Yesterday.
roadie. I remember.
And then Paul Walter Hauser, you might know, he was in I, Tonya also. And but he's the one who played Richard Jewell in the movie. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
so I
perfect.
was sort of surprised because I even asked my sister, I said, is he British? She goes, oh, no, that's the guy from Richard Jewell. It's like, oh. I mean, I was surprised because I really bought him as British, and as I did Emma Stone.
He looks it, too.
Mhm. But, they do little capers. They're sort of con people, but
They're kind of street people.
Exactly.
But they're good con people. They're really good at what they do.
Exactly. Well, they're good at
pickpocket.
ripping off people. Exactly.
Right.
But then Joel Fry's character knows that she wants to get into designing clothes. She's always had that passion. So he decides to get her a job. He gets her a job, granted as a cleaning woman at the House of Beecham, whatever that place is called. The Baroness is basically where she sells things. She's a top designer, and it turns out that she has some kind of connection to the Baroness that she doesn't understand. And as the film goes along, then they reveal so much more about her character, which sort of adds to her, I don't want to say likability, but more sympathetic you feel towards her. Because to be quite honest, like the Jake Gyllenhaal in the previous movie, she's not a sympathetic character in my opinion.
No.
She really isn't. I mean, she could tell. She is just sort of out for herself. The only sympathetic parts you see are one with her mother, two with the two guys she's with, her two brothers, as she calls them, and later on with someone else. But I have to admit, I thought the two Emmas I thought were excellent. I liked Emma Stone playing this, and Emma Thompson plays the Baroness, who's this almost like the Devil Wears
Snobby.
Prada kind of character.
Snobby fashion designer.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, she's apparently the top in her field at this time point, and basically has everyone designing things for her and just takes credit for it at
Right.
this point. Now,
Some people say that the kind of the usual.
and I do like the fact that at one point Emma Thompson's character really, goes and finally gets in her good graces and finally realizes what kind of woman she is. And you could tell she wants to become her, including sort of at one point just squashing her at one point. Just literally like, no, I want to ruin her. And that actually was my favorite sequence throughout, is her kind of
Ruination.
right, but getting the PR
Yeah.
that I'm always going to crash one of her events and just get all the attention on me by being the bad girl, basically, right?
Right.
And of course, this is happening during the 70s, during a punk era, so it really started matching, And I was mentioning to them earlier how
Great
much
clothes.
I love.
Great designs.
I love the soundtrack, and you're right. I'm sorry. There's a scene with a garbage truck. I thought that was fascinating. I'm not a fashion person at all, but even I said that deserves somebody's costume designing. Whoever decided to do that,
Right.
I thought that was sort of brilliant in a weird kind of trashy way. It's so hard to explain. But ultimately, I was really disappointed with this movie because the drama I didn't think really worked for me. If they just kept it as a light, fun, and got rid of the psychological part, I might have enjoyed it more. But in saying that, this is not a kid. And I saw it as a kid's movie. That's how I went into it, thinking, "Oh, this is for children." I don't really
Cruella?
think. Yes. Oh, when I was a
Well,
Disney
you would.
film.
You think of it
PG-13.
Dalmatians.
Disney.
You would
Yeah.
think
Be
of
like
it.
the life of the Wicked Witch of the North.
Well, no,
It's not going to be.
Well, that's the
nice.
thing. Yeah, that's
well,
like
it could still be
yeah.
done in a children's
Disney.
way.
well, sort of like Maleficent when they did that. I mean, I watched that movie and I thought, wow, they really changed the
You're
villain
right,
of this
right,
one,
right.
right? So they sort of did the same thing, but I think it's because of the director, and he just does this great job of doing the psychological torture kind of people with this very light side. But the light side I thought was a lot of fun. There were a couple of very clever moments I thought too. Especially when it comes to Emma Thompson's finale kind of fashion show. I thought that's a very clever way of somebody trying to get back at her. So, and the other people I'll point out is I thought Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who played her best friend, Anita, I think her name is, the journalist, that was a fun character. Mark Strong playing Emma Thompson's valet, thought he was very good. And Emily Beecham playing her mother. Again, I thought she was just so sweet.
Yeah.
And here's this evil child. And I thought, okay. And another one is that John McCrae, which I thought was interesting. He plays another one of her cohorts who joins her gang, so to speak. He runs sort of like a thrift shop with vintage dresses.
It's kind of like remind me of like what's the singer? David Bowie, kind of like David Bowie, early David Bowie.
Right. Well, that glam. Right. He had
Yeah,
that glam look.
glam.
Right. Because you could tell he was very feminine, very bohemian, feminine, I guess androgyny at that time too. But wonderful character. You could tell why she would like this character because he was also all about fashion.
Right.
So, And so ultimately, the Dalmatians really have, in my opinion, have nothing to do with it. But
The Dalmatians
thought
have
was good.
everything to do with it. This is why she goes on the quest.
Hold on, you'll get your chance there, my friend.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
sorry,
so
Lana.
no. But anyway, so this is a movie I'd recommend for people who just want to see a light, fun movie. But I thought if it was a 90-minute movie with just fun stuff, I would have been, or the revenge kind of humor,
Right,
I
one
would
or
have been.
two.
But it does get dark, so be warned.
Okay, Judge.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed the movie. You actually killed my joke because I was gonna say I really like what's it? The Devil Wears Prada. I mean, Cruella.
Oh,
You
Devil
took my
Wears
joke.
Prada.
I was took my- Anyways, actually, the only thing actually as opposed to you, the one thing that really killed it for me was Emma Stone's accent. Because I thought
okay.
I could feel it so fake. Actually, and I actually like Emma Stone's in movies, and of course I love Emma Thompson. I think she was brilliant in the movie. I love her character. She was perfect. I thought actually I would have preferred it if Emma Stone would have just done no accent, just be her normal character, just no need for the accent. So and that probably would have worked out better. I thought it was a little too long, but but I like the time period. I love the soundtrack. Every song was like, wow, this is a great soundtrack. That's the thing is that every time Emma Thompson has some kind of you want to show off her latest design, Cruella comes with a better design. That's showing her off. At times it reminded me a little bit of Zoolander, kind of the feel of it. Like the competition with modeling. Like my pose is gonna kill your pose, basically. So kind of the feel. And
That was a good movie.
and it reminded me a little bit of Ugly Betty too because of the whole fashion thing. I don't know if you ever saw Ugly Betty with it was a series with America Ferrera.
Right. Oh, I remember it.
It was all about fashion, so it kind of had the feel. It looked like the Devil Wears Prada too. It's kind of the same idea. So let me say that. The movie was pretty long. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The costume designer for this film was they worked on Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, wow.
And she got hired from after this other movie. She got hired to do this movie.
What an opposite
And she
look.
did 277 costumes for the cast.
Oh, I believe it.
47 costumes were for Cruella alone.
Wow.
That's serious costume designer there. So
She should be up for something.
I would think so. Yes.
yeah, so
Endless energy.
But yeah, I mean, I love those period pieces too. I would say that one thing, the only two things about the movie was the length and the Emma Stone's accent. I just could not get over it. Every time she would speak, it's like, oh, you're killing me, man. You're killing me,
the
Larry.
movie.
And well, this is a thing about the end. At the end, no, that's you talk about Dalmatians. There's where you watch the post-credit scenes, and there's a thing where these two characters open up the little box and they get two little puppies. The names of the puppies are the two puppies from the 101 Dalmatians.
Dalmatians, right.
So it's the two guys. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, aside from that, it was enjoyable.
Okay, so I was wondering who. It kind of reminded me of the idea like Wicked, but it just doesn't. Where they take the bad character and they
Right.
make her more
The hero.
interesting. Yeah, they make her the hero.
And I was gonna say it's a Cruella origin story.
yeah.
About
Except
Marvel.
she's nothing like Cruella.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
she doesn't even end up anything like Cruella.
Right.
She doesn't look anything like
Not at
Cruella.
all.
And so I have a problem with Emma Stone being that person. First of all, I had a huge problem with her on The Favorite. It's like, just don't speak. It was like,
Stop doing these British movies.
stop doing
With the
these
accents.
British movies. Your accent is wrong. I don't, it just drives me crazy. And she's way too perky to be Cruella.
Yes.
Cruella is not a... So I was like, who is this for? Is it for an adult or is it for children? If it's for children, it's way too long.
Oh,
If it's
God,
for
yeah.
an adult, well, I don't see it being for an adult. I don't think an adult would, unless they want to relive
You kind
their
of rolled the
childhood.
line.
Don't mind me. I'm allergic to my own perfume.
But she's wearing it anyway.
God. Anyway, so it's a little too childish for adults, I thought, The music is fantastic. I mean, literally, the music is like I wanted to go out and buy the soundtrack. In fact, that's where I heard all the money went to, for them to be able to use that movie. It's all copywritten movie, so a lot of money went into buying being
The
able to
soundtrack.
use the movie, the soundtrack.
You know, there's a rare, to interrupt you, there's a rare movie by Patrick Swayze where he plays a guy he takes his son on a road trip. And it's like he's estranged from his wife. And then he's driving this muscle car and they're getting, shenanigans on the road trip.
Right?
Best soundtrack ever, also. I thought when I saw the movie, it's a very rare movie. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got a soundtrack like, wow.
Not the
road
road.
trip accent.
Was it the
It might have
road?
been called Road Trip. I can't remember. Maybe, yeah.
Okay, back to
But
Cruella.
back to Cruella, yes.
Cruella. Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Thompson?
Thompson
Right.
Oh,
is always, it's like I was saying about
Brilliant.
Michael Caine. I mean, she's always brilliant. What can I say? Well, no matter what she does, I
Right.
just love her on screen. In fact, it took me a minute to realize it was Emma Thompson. I was like, I know that lady. How do I know that lady? You know, a lot of time British actors have a way of losing themselves in the roles so
Right.
that they physically actually take
Look.
on the characteristics of the person they're playing. So, yeah, so that was my opinion.
but she also has a very interesting way of talking here. You can tell by the way her mouth.
Yes.
Because she has an underbite.
Talks like that.
She has an underbite. So yeah, the way she talks. Just by watching her mouth, it was, oh yeah, that's Emma Thompson.
Okay, so are we ready to?
Are we missing
Patty,
somebody?
Patty.
My opinion, hello. And it will not be pretty, but I say.
You gave it so much. I thought we.
Back off, bitch. Okay, this movie should have taken one or two sides. Be a Disney movie, la 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 la, or be a true story of Cruella. And Cruella is Glenn Close, high cheekbones, bitch of the year.
Yeah.
And so this is supposed to be about how she became this way.
Yeah.
So I think they should have stuck to that role. The Dalmatians are very important because you always wonder why she wants to make a coat out of them, right? With Glenn Close. And she's the coldest bitch you've ever met in your life. Emma Thomas is just the wrong person for this, accent or not. She's too cutesy wootsy.
Or Emma Stone.
Oh yeah,
Emma Stone. And
Stone.
she's also very tiny. She's skin and bone. I
Well,
think
it's her
Cruella's a
face.
big
Her
girl.
face is like a little girl's,
Yeah.
You need somebody with cheekbones, more stern looking, even at a young age. Because Emma Stone is not going to look like Glenn Close. There's no way you could cross that over.
Remember Roseanne's daughter in the Roseanne show?
Right.
The older one.
Becky?
No, the other one.
Or Darlene.
Denise. Wasn't it Darlene?
Darlene.
That kind of character
Yeah.
would have made a better Cruella.
You mean the one that's in Big Bang Theory too?
Yeah.
Okay.
They keep-
Melissa Gilbert. Is Gilbert?
Yeah.
Melissa Gilbert?
No,
Well, that might be the other
No,
one.
Sarah Gilbert.
Sarah-
Sarah Gilbert.
yeah,
The
something like
sisters, right.
Yeah, she's more. I see her like Wednesday or something like
Yeah.
when
And that's the kind of person you want because that's the kind of person she's playing.
Yeah, Emma
But
Stone
because
has
they were
another film.
riding the fence on, is it going to be for the kids or the
Right.
adults?
Exactly. Who is it for?
Well, with this kind of character, it's for adults, right? And kids who can sneak in, right? That's the way it works. But because when you think of Cruella, you think of Glenn Close because
Yes.
she is Cruella. So everything has to match up with
Well,
that.
she looks like Cruella.
She looks like Cruella should look.
Yeah.
And she's got the attitude of it. Do you know what I mean?
You don't think so?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
so
seen it
no
either.
idea,
Well,
yeah.
I
You've
didn't
never
see
seen
it either.
Cruella?
I haven't
Well,
seen
no,
it
not
either.
the-
not the Glenn
One-on-one,
Close.
uh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it either. But
Yeah.
Well, then you guys don't know
Oh,
what
but
the
you know
hell
what?
you're talking about.
Oh, but you know what?
I know what Cruella looks like.
Okay,
Well,
I get.
yes.
I kept confusing Glenn Close with the one that wins all the awards. What's her name?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. I keep thinking Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep.
No,
really?
that's Prada.
Meryl Streep.
Because
Why
I
do
think,
Prada.
yeah,
But another thing
yeah.
of Glenn Close, yeah, she can be.
Well, even
she's
if
tough.
you like, I remember when I read Gone with the Wind, right? And then
Right.
I saw the movie. And when I read the book, I saw Rhett Butler looked exactly like Clark Gable. He was exactly
Yeah,
like
he did, yeah.
looked.
Oh,
How
wow.
he was
Okay.
described. I mean, literally, it was identical.
Getting
Same-
back to this
Same
movie.
thing as Cruella.
When I read Daffy Duck,
I know
you
the story.
So anyway, what I'm saying is, so Glenn Close is the Cruella. So if you've seen 101 Dalmatians, that is Cruella and the finished product. So whatever leads up to that has to go along that pathway or river to come to that conclusion. And the Dalmatians are important because she's always wanting to kill them and make them coats. And that's pretty hard to do in Hollywood where you know,
Right.
pets.
Yes.
I remember thinking, how are they going to pull this off?
You
And
know
then,
what scene I love? That little dog that he dresses like a little chihuahua that he
Yeah.
dresses like a mongoose or something.
Right.
He gets a tail. We used to see a little chihuahua.
No,
That's so
rat.
fun.
It's supposed
It's
to be a rat.
Oh, yeah.
That was
That
funny.
little
That was
chihuahua
funny.
was
but
funny.
the closeness of her compadres was sweet because that was her family, right?
Right.
And but because it was Emma Stone, I couldn't believe it, and I have to believe it.
Uh,
So,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
And it was too long.
so I think I was the only Emma Stone fan, is what you're saying.
No, I love like in La La Land. I love
I
them.
was
No,
gonna say-
no, in
that's
this
what I was gonna
movie.
say.
Did you say La La
I was
Land?
gonna say I was waiting for it
Yeah.
to start dancing in the air.
I hate
Oh,
La La
Land.
Land.
Love La La Land.
La La Land. Loved it. Loved her.
Love it.
in it.
Well, I don't know because I hated it so much I couldn't really see
Serious
beyond the
stars.
sparks in my eyes.
And so, by the way, Jenny Beavan, that's the name of the woman who was costume designer for this
Oh, okay.
show. So
Great costume.
Wonderful.
let's see if she gets nominated.
Yeah.
If,
Oh,
if
yeah?
not, wins for something like
Yeah.
this, because that was, like I said, that garbage truck scene alone, I thought was
That was
spectacular.
brilliant. The dress. the
That's
dress
what I
was-
mean. It just summed up everything with that one visual.
You know,
So even the art directors and people involved.
Oh,
in it
yeah.
in
too,
the
you know?
1980s, I actually wore a dress like that on New Year's Eve, except not as long. It was red taffeta, and we all hired a limo. We got so drunk. And I remember I couldn't get out of the limo. I had to crawl out of it. The red taffeta over my head. When we lived in Santa Monica.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't go with you.
No, you didn't. I came home. I couldn't walk. And there were 7 dogs there, and I had to remember all their names as they come at you, right? And I was like, yeah. And so I was using my head to open the door.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Memories.
Okay.
Memories.
George.
Yes.
What do you give it?
Oh, actually, yeah, I'll give it like 6.
Give it a 6.
Yeah, I mean, I will enjoy it more.
I give it a 5.
I give it a 5. And
I
yet
give it
I
a
liked it.
I gave it a 4.
Oh, you're the high
there you
man.
So funny.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be
Back.
right back.
Can I take break real quick?
Yes.